I still remember that night clearly, even though I try not to think about it. Some memories don't fade. They wait. This happened a few years ago when I was driving alone through a deep forest road late at night. I had driven that road before, but never this late, and never alone. I was coming back from a small town after visiting a friend. It was supposed to be a short drive, but my phone lost signal, and the GPS sent me through a forest route. At first, I didn't mind. I liked driving at night. The road was quiet, and my car radio played softly. I felt calm. That calm didn't last long. The forest around me grew thicker as I drove deeper. Tall trees stood close to the road, their branches forming a dark tunnel above my car. There were no streetlights, no houses, no signs, just my headlights cutting through the darkness. I checked the clock on my dashboard. It was 12:48 a.m. I told myself to relax. I was just tired. Night can make normal things feel scary. Still, I turned the radio volume down. I don't know why, but I wanted to hear the road. I wanted to hear if something was wrong. That's when I noticed how quiet it really was. No insects, no wind, not even distant animal sounds. Just the sound of my engine and my breathing. I drove slower. My eyes kept moving between the road and the trees. Every shadow felt like it was moving. Every curve felt longer than it should. I tried to laugh it off, but my hands were tight on the steering wheel. Then something appeared in the road ahead. At first, I thought it was a fallen branch. I slowed down even more. As I got closer, my stomach dropped. It wasn't a branch. It was a man. He was standing in the middle of the road, completely still. He wore dark clothes and his head was slightly down. My headlights hid his body, but his face stayed hidden in shadow. I slammed the brakes. My car stopped just a few feet away from him. My heart was beating so hard I could hear it. I rolled down the window just a little and asked if he was okay. My voice sounded weak, even to me. He didn't answer. He didn't move. I waited a few seconds, then told myself he was probably drunk or lost. Slowly, I tried to drive around him. That's when he lifted his head. His face looked wrong. Not hurt, not angry, just empty. His eyes were wide open, and he was smiling, but not a friendly smile. It was stiff, forced, like he didn't know how to smile. As I drove past him, his head followed my car. I didn't look back. I pressed the gas and drove faster. For a few minutes, nothing happened. The road twisted through the trees, and my heart slowly began to calm. I told myself I was safe. I told myself it was over. Then I saw headlights in my rearview mirror. A car was behind me. At first, I felt relief. Another person, another human. I wasn't alone anymore. But something felt wrong. The car stayed far back. Its headlights were off and on, like the driver was playing with the switch. It didn't pass me. It didn't fall back. It just stayed there, following. I sped up. So did the car. I slowed down. The car slowed down. My chest felt tight. I turned onto a smaller road, hoping to lose them. The car followed. The forest here was even darker. The trees were closer, and the road was narrow. My phone still had no signal. I tried calling anyway. Nothing. Suddenly, the car behind me turned off its headlights completely. I couldn't see it anymore. That scared me more than if I could. I kept driving, my eyes locked on the road ahead. Then, without warning, something hit the side of my car. I screamed. My car swerved, but I kept control. I stopped and jumped out, my heart racing. I thought maybe a deer had run into me, but there was nothing there. No animal, no damage, just silence. Then I heard footsteps, slow, heavy, coming from the trees. I got back in my car and locked the doors. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely start the engine. In my side mirror, I saw movement. Someone stepped out from between the trees. It was the same man, the one from the road. He stood there, watching me. His smile was gone now. His face looked calm, like this was normal to him. I drove away as fast as I could. I don't know how long I drove. 10 minutes? 20? Time felt broken. Finally, I saw a small gas station ahead. The lights felt like safety. I pulled in and parked. The place looked closed, but the lights were on. I stayed inside my car and waited. I looked around, checking every mirror. Nothing. After a few minutes, I felt foolish. I told myself I was imagining things. That's when I noticed something on my back window. A handprint, pressed against the glass from the outside. It was large, too large. I didn't sleep that night. I stayed at the gas station until morning. When daylight came, the forest didn't look scary anymore, but I know what I saw. I avoided that road after that. I told myself I was done with night driving through forests. Until last week. I was scrolling online when I saw a post. Someone shared a photo of a deep forest road at night. The caption said, "Has anyone else seen the man who stands in the road?" My stomach turned. The comments were worse. People talked about being followed, about headlights, about a smiling man who never spoke. One comment stood out. "He only shows up if you're alone." I don't drive through forests at night anymore. But sometimes, when I'm driving home late, I check my rearview mirror. And sometimes, I feel like someone is still following me. If you enjoy true horror stories like this, make sure to subscribe to my channel, The Haunted Echo, for more stories that stay with you long after the video ends. And remember, if you ever find yourself driving alone through a deep forest at night, don't stop. Don't look back. At the very end of a silent road stood my house, hidden behind twisted black oak trees that seemed determined to block out the light. Hardly anyone ever came here, and I preferred it that way. On bitter winter nights, I would sit by the fire with a book, listening only to the crackle of burning wood and the soft turn of pages. That night felt no different, until the phone rang. The phone almost never rang in this house anymore. I picked it up, mildly annoyed. "Hello?" A deep male voice replied, calm and deliberate. "I'm going to kill you." My chest went cold. "Who is this?" I asked. There was no answer. I repeated the question, my hand beginning to tremble, and then I heard a click. The line went dead. I immediately called the police and explained everything. After tracing the call, the officer told me, "Ma'am, the call is coming from inside your house." I laughed in disbelief and told him that was impossible. I lived alone. He suggested someone might have broken in. I agreed weakly. Then he added, "One more thing. I'm not a police officer." My body froze. He explained that he was the man who had called earlier and that he had never actually hung up. When I said I heard a click, he made the sound with his mouth. Horrifyingly, it was perfect. I asked if he was really inside my house. He said yes. When I asked where, he paused and said he liked my hair. My stomach dropped. He could see me. To prove it, he described my clothes in exact detail. As I stood there in shock, he suddenly went quiet and asked what was standing next to me. He described a small, translucent boy floating near the couch, holding a kite. My heart raced as I turned and saw the ghost myself. The boy floated closer and whispered, "Play with me." The man on the phone panicked when he heard the child speak, and I put him on speaker. The boy asked who I was and why I was in his house. I told him my name was Ellen and that I lived here now. I introduced the man on the phone as Douglas, who reluctantly admitted he had come to kill me. The ghost boy mocked us both for being afraid of a child. At that moment, the doorbell rang. I opened the door to find a hulking drifter in filthy clothes, a blood-stained machete hidden behind his back. He asked to charge his phone. When I refused, he forced his way inside. Now the room contained me, a killer on the phone, a killer in the house, and a ghost child. Tension thickened the air. Then the doorbell rang again. Outside was a large wooden box. Against every instinct, I carried it inside. Inside the box was a battered clown doll with a twisted grin. When I pulled the string, the doll sang a cheerful song about a circus and ended by announcing it would kill us all, basically. Moments later, the lights went out and everyone screamed. Someone claimed I had been killed by the clown. The lights flickered back on, and I realized my contact lens had slipped out of place. I tried to fix it, poking directly into my eye, which horrified everyone else in the room. The man on the phone gagged. The ghost boy winced. Suddenly, there was a real click. The phone line went dead. Douglas was gone. The ghost boy slowly faded into the wall, announcing he was done with this place. The drifter dropped his machete, muttered that he hated the house, and walked out into the darkness. I was left alone again, standing by the fire as it crackled softly. And that was when it occurred to me. Out of everyone who had been there that night, I might have been the most normal one of all. And that was tonight's story. But the question remains, was the house ever truly empty? Or are there places that are never alone, only unseen? If this story made you feel uneasy, even for a moment, then believe this. The story isn't really over. Because I'll be back with more dark, mysterious, and terrifying tales right here on this channel. Until then, think twice before answering the phone late at night, and take a closer look at the shadows in your room. Make sure to subscribe to The Haunted Echo. Stay safe and stay aware.